There are moments in life when the silence becomes louder than the noise you once knew, when the phone stops ringing, familiar faces fade, and the rooms you enter feel emptier than they ever have before. If you are a woman walking through a season like that, this message is not here to scare you, shame you, or confuse you. It is here to name what you've been feeling but couldn't put into words, because what you're experiencing is not abandonment, it is not rejection, and it is not an accident. There are women who are called to walk paths others could never survive, and the first sign of that calling is isolation. You didn't choose it, yet it found you. Friends drifted, relationships collapsed, conversations grew shallow, and suddenly you were left alone with your thoughts, your prayers, and a God who seemed quieter than ever. But hear this clearly. Heaven is not silent right now. Heaven is intentional. God does not isolate weak women. He isolates those He is preparing. The reason this season feels unbearable is because it was never meant for the unchosen. Many would break here. Many do break here. But you are still standing, still seeking, still breathing, still listening. That alone tells a story. Isolation is where God strips away borrowed identities, false support, and human validation so He can reveal who you are when no one is watching. This is the place where clarity is forged, discernment is sharpened, and strength is born quietly. If you've been wondering why your life feels narrower, why your circle grew smaller, why your heart feels heavier yet more awake, this message is your confirmation. You are not being hidden because you are forgotten. You are being hidden because you are chosen. And what God is doing in this season will explain everything that didn't make sense before. Isolation is often misunderstood because people assume that if God is pleased, life should feel full, loud, affirmed, and surrounded by support. But history tells a different story. The most refined vessels were shaped in spaces where applause was absent and companionship was stripped away. When isolation begins, it feels personal, like something is wrong with you, like you said or did something that pushed people away. But in reality, what's happening is far more intentional. God removes what distracts you from hearing Him clearly. He separates you from environments that were sustaining comfort but killing calling. Isolation is not God stepping away, it is God stepping closer. It is where He speaks without interruption and where you are forced to confront yourself honestly. The silence becomes a mirror. You notice patterns you ignored, wounds you buried, and strengths you never had to use before. This space feels heavy because it requires maturity, self-awareness, and spiritual endurance. Many confuse isolation with rejection because it feels lonely, but loneliness and isolation are not the same. Loneliness says, "No one wants me." Isolation says, "I am being prepared." When God isolates someone, He is guarding what He placed inside them. Not everyone deserves access to your becoming. Not everyone can handle the weight of your future. Isolation protects you from leaking purpose prematurely. It is the quiet room where God teaches you to walk without leaning on people, to trust without seeing results, and to obey without validation. If this season feels uncomfortable, it's because growth is happening at a level comfort cannot support. There is a distinct pattern that appears in the lives of women who are chosen for greater spiritual depth. Separation comes before elevation. Before anything rises, it must be rooted, and roots grow underground where no one sees. Chosen women often notice that their lives don't follow the same timeline as others. While others are settling, pairing off, or blending in, they feel pulled in a different direction. This separation is painful because it often involves misunderstanding. People assume you are distant, difficult, or changing for the worse, when in truth, you are being refined. Elevation requires clarity, and clarity demands distance from noise. God separates chosen women because what He is building in them cannot survive constant external influence. Every voice carries weight, and too many voices dilute discernment. Separation trains you to hear God above emotion, opinion, and pressure. It also exposes dependency. You learn who you are without approval, without reassurance, without someone else carrying the emotional load for you. This season tests whether you can stand firm without being seen. Elevation doesn't begin with visibility, it begins with stability. And stability is formed when you learn to remain faithful even when no one notices. Separation may feel like loss, but it is actually alignment. It is God rearranging your environment to match where He is taking you. The pain is not proof of failure, it is evidence of transition. Loneliness has a way of stripping life down to its rawest form. When distractions fade, emotions surface. Questions rise that were once drowned out by activity. This is why loneliness often precedes clarity. In silence, you hear what you've been avoiding. In stillness, you recognize what no longer fits. Loneliness becomes the doorway through which truth enters. It is uncomfortable because clarity is rarely gentle. It exposes misplaced priorities, unhealthy attachments, and false expectations. But it also brings relief. There is a strange peace that comes when confusion lifts, even if answers are incomplete. Loneliness teaches you to sit with yourself without escape. It reveals your inner dialogue and shows you where healing is still needed. God allows loneliness not to punish, but to awaken. It sharpens perception. You begin to sense when something is off, when someone is draining, when a path leads nowhere. Clarity doesn't shout, it whispers, and whispers require quiet to be heard. Loneliness trains you to listen deeply. It removes the pressure to perform and replaces it with the responsibility to reflect. In this space, you learn what matters and what never did. You learn the difference between being needed and being valued. Loneliness may feel like emptiness, but it is actually space being cleared for understanding. What once felt confusing begins to make sense, not because circumstances change, but because you do. When God wants to refine identity, He removes noise. Noise isn't just sound, it's influence, expectation, comparison, and distraction. Noise keeps you reacting instead of discerning. It keeps you busy instead of becoming. When the noise fades, identity emerges. You begin to notice what you truly desire, what you genuinely believe, and what you've been carrying that was never yours. Noise removal feels like loss because it often involves people, routines, and familiar structures. But what's left behind is clarity. Identity cannot be formed in constant reaction mode. God removes noise so you stop shaping yourself around others' expectations and start aligning with His intention. In quiet seasons, you stop asking, "How do they see me?" and start asking, "Who am I becoming?" This is where strength develops. You learn to make decisions without consensus. You learn to trust your inner convictions. Noise removal also reveals authenticity. Without an audience, you see who you really are. And that honesty becomes the foundation for growth. God is not interested in a polished image. He is interested in a grounded identity. Noise would only distort that. Silence sharpens you. It teaches you to speak with intention and to listen with discernment. When the noise is gone, what remains is truth. Betrayal and misunderstanding often accompany chosen paths because clarity threatens comfort. When you change internally, even quietly, it unsettles people who benefited from your old version. Misunderstanding doesn't always come from malice. Sometimes it comes from fear. Betrayal cuts deep because it comes from places of trust, but it also reveals alignment. When people misunderstand you despite your honesty, it shows that explanation cannot fix misalignment. God allows this not to harden you, but to free you. Betrayal forces you to release expectations you didn't realize you had. It teaches you to rely on discernment rather than attachment. Misunderstanding strips you of the need to be seen accurately by everyone, and that is a powerful release. When you no longer need validation, you become unshakable. Chosen women are often misunderstood because their depth cannot be measured by surface-level interaction. Betrayal is not the end. It is a redirection. It clears space for healthier connections and deeper understanding. Painful as it is, it refines your heart and sharpens your boundaries. Survival through isolation is not accidental. Many enter these seasons. Few endure them without losing themselves. Survival means you learn to breathe through discomfort, to pray without answers, to hope without evidence. It means you didn't numb, run, or abandon your values. Strength built here is quiet but unbreakable. You learn patience, emotional regulation, and spiritual resilience. Isolation reveals coping mechanisms and forces growth. Surviving it proves capacity. God doesn't promote based on intention, He promotes based on endurance. What you survived prepared you to carry weight without collapsing. Strength developed in isolation is not loud, but it lasts. It shows up as peace under pressure and clarity in chaos. This strength cannot be taught, it must be lived. This message is not introducing something new to you, it is confirming what your spirit already sensed. Confirmation arrives when timing meets readiness. You didn't stumble onto this message by accident. Something in you recognized it. Confirmation doesn't demand action, it brings alignment. It settles confusion. It gives language to experience. When something resonates deeply, it's because truth recognizes itself. This message isn't here to excite you, it's here to steady you, to remind you that what you're walking through has meaning, direction, and purpose. You were never lost. You were being led. Before you leave this moment, take a breath and let everything you've just heard settle inside you. This message was not meant to rush you or pressure you into immediate answers. It was meant to steady you. If you felt unseen, misunderstood, or quietly stretched in ways you couldn't explain to anyone, know this. Nothing about your journey has been accidental. The silence you walked through. Age did not weaken you, it sharpened you. The isolation did not empty you, it revealed you. What felt like delay was alignment happening beneath the surface, out of sight, where only God could work without interruption. You may not see the full picture yet, and that's okay. Growth doesn't always announce itself with visible change. Sometimes it shows up as inner peace where anxiety once lived, discernment where confusion ruled, and quiet confidence where self-doubt once spoke loudly. These are not small things. These are signs of transformation. You are becoming someone who can stand without applause, who can wait without bitterness, and who can move forward without needing approval. As you step away from this video, don't carry pressure, carry clarity. You don't need to force outcomes or chase validation. Trust the process that has already carried you this far. What's ahead will unfold in its time, and when it does, you will be ready. Not because everything became easy, but because you became steady. Hold on to that truth. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are being prepared in ways that cannot be rushed, replaced, or replicated.